Hello everyone, welcome back, it's Orion, and today we are going to be talking about Halo Infinite multiplayer, something that I have been waiting to do a review on for a very long time now, ever since the multiplayer was released early before it's released for us to play and for free, which is just awesome. Shout out to 343 Industries for that. And that right there is our first segue into what we will be doing for this review of Halo Infinite multiplayer, is talking about the pros and cons so far of this game, and we will be starting off with the pros first. That first pro that I just mentioned is that the game is free. Now, I am sure a lot of people out there who probably aren't aware of how this works. While the game's multiplayer is free to play, the entirety of the game, including campaign, is still $60 to $70, depending on the console that you are buying it for. So what exactly is the point of it being free then? Well, that's because 343 Industries is taking the route of what Warzone did, where they made that part of the game free to play no matter what, so anyone could play it, whether they were someone who bought the full game or didn't. This is a really smart move, and especially since they released the game early for people to play for free, that's just a smart move. Business-wise and marketing-wise, because it gets people excited to buy their product, especially if it's good, and good it is. Let's just talk about it. Now, for me, I will definitely be paying the full $60 when the game officially releases on Tuesday, so there I will also play the campaign and we'll be doing a playthrough of the game for sure, so stay tuned for that once the game fully releases on Tuesday. So let's start into the second pro that is very much spread throughout this game so far, is that plain and simple, it is just fun to play. And this is definitely something that must be graded no matter what type of entertainment media it is. Movie, video game, how entertaining the game is to play is something that must always be in a game for it to have any semblance of a soul. And for me, this game is very fun to play and it keeps me coming back. I don't know if I've ever felt that way about a new, and I repeat, new game in a very long time. An online game, might I add to that. Recently, I have been playing a game called Power Wash Simulator on Steam, which has really been fun, but that's not an online game, but the point still stands. I haven't felt that way since Apex Legends in 2019. That game just feels like a good experience. Just like Halo Infinite, the game just feels like a really good experience, and I really do like what it's doing so far from that aspect. The third pro, and this one could be a little, I would say, arguable for a lot of people depending on which generation you grew up with in Halo, but the third pro is that the game has a really nice blend of old school and new school generation Halo in it. I really love how the gunplay and maps feel like an older generation of Halo, and then stuff like the movement and other in-game aspects like certain weapons are of a newer generation. Of course, the most obvious new generation aspect of Halo is the movement. Full sprint is now a thing in Halo these days, and it never was like that in the older games. Now, the reason for me that altogether this is a pro is because as someone who has grown up on new Halo first and gradually went back to old Halo over time, I feel this mix of both worlds is a good thing for any player of any generation. Halo 4 was my first Halo game, and to this day I had a lot of fun playing that game, and I know it gets a lot of criticism, which me personally, I don't understand. I don't understand that criticism at all. The game is fun, and to me the game feels most like Halo in some ways with the movement more than Halo 5 does. Now, of course, the game is a mix of the older games and then Halo 4 and 5 together. You can very much see it. This game does not disinclude 5 in any way. You can definitely see Halo 5 all throughout this game. Now, the fourth pro that I've already kind of mentioned, but we will now talk about, is the maps of Halo Infinite. I really, really like the maps in this game to a great extent. The maps feel good to play on in some ways, just like what you would see from any Halo map. Aquarius, Bazaar, Launch Site, Live Fire, Recharge, Streets, and even extending to some of the big team battle maps that extend out to their really big areas that allow for the hyper-extended gameplay with more than a 4-player combat. The only map that I would probably have an issue with, and this sort of delves into my cons with the game, but Behemoth to me is just not a good ranked play map. I think the map overall is just okay. I think for me it's the worst map in the game by far, even with some of the cool snipes that I've hit on it so far. I think that map should definitely be taken out of the ranked playlist. I just don't think it works there, especially with Capture the Flag. Like, if anything, make that map a Slayer map instead of a Capture the Flag map. With the Capture the Flag aspect, there are barely ever any captures, and the game just takes the entire extent of the time limit it has. So I would definitely remove that map from the ranked playlist for sure. Pro number 5 will be a lot, if not most of the weapons in this game. I really dig some of the new weapons that were added into the game, and to an extent, of course, your base guns, whether that's the assault rifle, battle rifle, or your spanker rocket launcher. Now, I think it definitely warrants saying, but getting into the cons again, and this is a big one, but the pistol variant weapons in the game are really, really bad. The sidekick main pistol, plasma pistol, and disruptor pistol are all terrible. That there's just no point to even using them. You'll have a better chance killing with any other weapon. Like, they are just so bad that they should always be used as like a last resort weapon in case there's like nothing else to use. Do not use the pistols in this game. Trust me when I say that. You are so much better off using any other weapon. Also, the sniper rifle in this game is definitely not the easiest Halo sniper rifle I've ever used, that's for sure. The gun is definitely a little tougher to use, but when you hit your shots, it is definitely satisfying. The new weapons they've added in are very unique, and I like the newness of the weapons very much, whether it's the new sniper rifles, to the newest form of an RPG type weapon in the skewer, and even to some of the explosive type weapons that pack a punch and bring great satisfaction when you kill somebody with them. The weapons are all great. Basically, aside from the pistol variants, do not use those guns, okay? Trust me, you will thank me later. Now, unless I've missed something, this will be the final pro of the video so far, and that final 6th pro is plain and simple, no microtransactions. Now, before you say anything, I understand this particular pro comes with a technicality. Technically, there are microtransactions in the game, but not of what is called pay-to-win microtransactions. You cannot buy anything in the game that would give you an advantage over the competition. Halo 5 was huge on this, and in some ways, while it made a game like Warzone not that shit crap that Call of Duty put out, but Halo's version of Warzone in Halo 5, it created for some interesting gameplay, even if it was pay to win. With Halo Infinite, the microtransactions are fully cosmetic only, and there are no supply drops. They actually have challenges in the game that allow for you to earn some of those customizations, which I very much appreciate because it allows you to want to play the game and keep coming back for more. And now, let us get into the cons of the game so far, because there are a few that I must mention. First con to start is that the game is not finished. Yes, I know, Halo has done it too. They will be releasing the game in an unfinished state on release on December 8th. Now, to be fair to them, when it comes to the competition, they will be the most finished game out of the 3 main first-person shooters, Battlefield 2042, Call of Duty Vanguard, and now Halo Infinite. But this is in no way excuses the incompetence of why Halo will not be releasing in a good and finished state. When the game releases, it will have campaign and multiplayer, of course, it'll all be there. Unfortunately, the game will be missing a bunch of game modes. Forge will not be there on release, and neither will co-op. This is all missing from the main release of the game. Now let's just say it for what it is. But that is simply just unacceptable. I'm sorry, 343 Industries, but you guys have had 6 years to make this game, longer than any other FPS studio right now. You should have had this game done by now. 6 years is a lifetime, man. I just don't understand how you could not possibly have this game finished by now. How do you not even have your game modes done alone? Like, that's weirder than the other 2 things that I listed to not be done with. Now, in all honesty, I don't really know if the release of the new generation of consoles has anything to do with this, since Halo is an Xbox exclusive game and not PlayStation. But I will not put my money on that being the reason for many of these key missing elements of the game. Again, to reiterate, that's just not acceptable anymore. I am so sick and tired of living in a time where games just can't release in a finished state like what happened to the old, like basically comparing it to what happened to the old days, where studios had less time, less resources, and less people to work on these games to where they finished in a better release state than they do now. It needs to be fixed, and I'm just so sick and tired of seeing this done with so many of our beloved games that we are looking forward to every time that they get close to releasing. So yeah, Halo, please work on this. I'm being genuinely serious. Work on that. Okay, so moving on to the second con, and this kind of ties into the first con a little bit, but we have to talk about the hackers and the hacking. Again, this is just unacceptable from 343 to not have an anti-cheat system in your free-to-play game that includes crossplay. This is literally the Warzone situation all over again, only it's not as bad as Warzone was. Warzone was a whole other different beast when it came to hacking, and it still to this day is, funny enough. Now, of course, there is criticism warranted for both sides. Of course, 343 should have had an anti-cheat, but to all the people who do hack, let me just say this right now. You are all pieces of lonely shit who will never do anything good in life but ruin the fun for other people. It's plaguing gaming so much now that it makes online games completely unplayable at times. I'm done with this, man. It's ridiculous how people feel this should ever be allowed, and it gives them any joy in life. Thankfully for me, I haven't come across any hackers on Infinite, but I can't really speak for other people who may have come across some. Now, the third con we must talk about is the progression system. Now, this has definitely been touted for a while now, but the game does not have a good and fast progression system. It's painfully slow and doesn't offer much. Now, you do earn some stuff from the Battle Pass, but of course, we just have to copy a lot of what other games do. But in fairness, the Battle Pass can be chosen and you can do what you want with it. You can either pay for the whole thing or you just earn the free stuff over time by gradually playing the game. Now, with the final con of the video that I have for Halo Infinite's multiplayer, this one is the smallest thing we will talk about in this review, but let's just talk about what it is. Theater mode. I very much appreciate this game for including a theater mode because this helps YouTubers and streamers as a whole. It just helps them a whole hell of a lot with recording videos and streaming. Unfortunately, the way in which the settings on theater mode work don't exactly pair up well with one another. If you just want to get the game in its full with the HUD and all of that, you need the key icon still on the top right for some reason, and you can't get rid of it. Also, I think the theater mode does need more settings to do many other different things, but for me this is just a nitpick, but that's all I gotta really say as far as that one goes. Guys, that is my official review of Halo Infinite multiplayer. Now, again, I also want to reiterate that this is currently in somewhat of a beta form. The Halo Infinite multiplayer. This is not exactly what the full Halo Infinite multiplayer experience is going to be like. Of course, they are planning to release other stuff to the game in full. Unfortunately, it will not be on release, as I mentioned earlier, but they will be releasing some other stuff like certain key game modes and various other things, I'm sure. So this is basically just in beta form, technically, because they did release it early. So we'll just have to see what 343 Industries does with this game as time goes on. And look, as of right now, aside from all the cons that I mentioned and the fact that it's basically still in an unfinished form, look, as long as they take their time with the Forge and the co-op mode, I really hope that they can just release them in good states. And right now, for me, I am just mainly looking forward to the Halo Infinite campaign when it releases on Tuesday. So I am definitely looking forward to that for the most right now. I've enjoyed multiplayer to a great extent, and I know I'm going to keep playing this game for months and months on end. I am really enjoying this game. I don't have any qualms with it as far as enjoyability or entertainment. I think it's all there for me. So I applaud 343 Industries for getting that down and nailing that on the head. So guys, I've got nothing more to say. This is my review of Halo Infinite multiplayer. If you like this video, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe and share the video if you'd like. And also comment down below, what do you think of my review? Do you agree with some of the stuff I said, or do you disagree? How do you feel about Halo Infinite multiplayer right now? Do you like it? Do you not? I want to know all your thoughts down below in the comment section below as we get to the main release of the game on Tuesday. So guys, that's going to do it for me in this review, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all on the main release of Halo Infinite. Peace out, everybody.